Welcome to our deep dive into James Altucher's Choose Yourself Guide to Wealth.
Okay.
This book, it's got endorsements from a Freakonomics author and the founder of Hay House.
Wow.
So clearly Altucher's gives some attention-grabbing ideas.
Yeah.
But what stands out to you as the most unique part of his approach?
Well, he really goes against what most people say about wealth.
Right.
He says that the whole, climb the corporate ladder, save for retirement, that whole traditional path to wealth is failing us.
Okay.
And he actually thinks that system is designed to keep people dependent.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people assume that getting a good job and saving diligently is really the only way to build wealth. But Altucher seems to think there are flaws in that system.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, he uses a lot of historical examples to kind of show the instability of these traditional systems.
Okay.
He points to the economic shifts after World War II, the booms, the busts, just to demonstrate that what we think is stable is really vulnerable to change.
Right.
And he also argues that there are hidden costs associated with the traditional path.
Okay.
Huge student loan debt just from getting a good degree, right?
Yeah.
Or the opportunity cost of just staying in a job you hate.
Yeah.
Just for security.
So are you saying that by the time you factor all that in,
the
traditional path might not be as financially rewarding as we think?
I think there are other things too, like the emotional toll of just staying in a job you hate just for the paycheck.
Right.
That can be really draining, and that can spill over into other parts of your life,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, if the old system is broken, what's the alternative?
Well, he calls it a choose yourself approach.
Okay.
And it's about becoming an idea machine and using the shifting landscape to your advantage.
To build wealth on your own terms.
Okay, so choose yourself. I like that.
Yeah.
It's intriguing, but it also sounds a little abstract.
Right.
How does he break that down into something actionable?
Well, one of the first things he does is he gives us this thing called the idea matrix.
Okay.
Which is just a simple way to see where you are in your career and in your control over your own ideas.
Okay.
So he puts people into 4 different quadrants.
Okay.
Employed, working on someone else's bad ideas, employed working on your own good ideas, self-employed working on other people's bad ideas.
Yeah.
And then finally, the best one, self-employed, working on your own good ideas.
So the goal is to move into that top right quadrant.
Yes.
Self-employed, your own ideas.
Absolutely.
But how do you get there?
Well, that's where the good stuff in the book comes in.
Right.
He gives you very specific steps to start choosing yourself, beginning with the right mindset.
He really stresses this daily practice as a foundation for success.
Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah.
The daily practice, what's that?
So it focuses on 4 main areas: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual health.
Okay.
And he thinks that you can't really achieve abundance in any area if you're neglecting these parts.
So it's not just about the hustle.
No. Okay.
It's about creating well-being.
Yeah.
The physical part might be exercising or just getting enough sleep.
Right.
The emotional part could be spending time with loved ones.
Yeah.
Or practicing gratitude.
Okay, so it's about taking care of yourself as a whole to allow for that success.
Exactly.
And so where does the idea generation fit into this?
So the mental part of the daily practice, that's where he introduces the idea of becoming an idea machine.
Okay.
And one of his exercises is writing down 10 ideas every day.
10 ideas every day.
That's a lot.
It can be, especially if you're not used to it.
Right.
But that's the point.
Okay.
It's about exercising that muscle.
Okay.
And he's clear that these ideas, they don't have to be huge business plans or anything. They could be anything that comes to mind.
Yeah.
He uses the example of his wife, Claudia.
Okay.
She's obsessed with airplanes, even though she hates to fly.
Okay.
But she can tell you everything about airplane seats, flight deals, the best airlines.
Yeah.
So even a fear of flying can be inspiration.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah.
So let's say I've been doing the daily practice.
Yeah.
I'm generating these ideas.
Okay.
I'm inspired. What's the next step in this?
Right.
How do you turn them into something profitable?
Well, he tells a story about his friend
Okay.
who told people to start newsletters back in the day.
So today's podcast and YouTube channels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It highlights the power of having an audience. Right.
The more ideas you have, the more likely you'll find an opportunity
Yeah.
to connect those ideas with an audience and maybe make money from it.
Okay, so create a platform,
Yeah,
share my knowledge, build a community.
exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and he doesn't just leave it there.
Yeah.
He talks about his own experience selling a website for $10 million.
Right.
And he emphasizes this idea of failing quickly.
Most people are terrified of failure.
Right.
How does he spin that?
Well, he sees failure as like this essential part of learning.
Okay.
He says that you're going to learn more from trying and failing than you ever will from just like sitting on the sidelines.
Right.
He actually has all sorts of lists he uses to generate ideas.
Huh?
Some are serious,
Yeah.
some are quirky, some are just fun.
Okay.
But the point is to just keep generating.
Right. So playful, experimental,
Yeah.
not too much perfectionism.
Exactly.
Okay.
I like that.
And the daily practice is still there? Like, you're not going to have good ideas if you're stressed, burnt out, negative.
Right. It's like, got to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got the mindset.
Right.
We've got generating ideas. But what about actually selling?
Ah, well, that's where he brings in this really interesting concept called the human economy.
The human economy. Okay, that's intriguing.
It's all about recognizing that relationships and trust are what really matter.
Right.
You know, moving away from these like impersonal transactions and really like helping people.
So how do you actually put that into practice?
He gives some really interesting advice, like things like saying no, over-delivering, underpricing, even selling everything, and firing customers.
Firing customers. That sounds kind of radical.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's actually about strengthening the relationships with the right customer.
Okay, so building that loyal community.
Exactly. Something sustainable.
Right.
Not just a one-time thing.
Yeah, I like that.
And this actually ties in really well with how he sees leadership.
And how does he define leadership?
So he goes against that idea of titles and authority. He says it's about inspiring others, creating a vision that people want to be a part of.
Right.
Like he uses his own podcast as an example, highlighting people who have transformed their lives and are now helping others.
So you don't need a fancy title to be a leader.
Right.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
And I know he also gives a lot of advice on networking and building connections.
Yes.
What are some of his key tips there?
He talks about reconnecting with people you haven't talked to in years, hosting events that bring together different kinds of people, and something he admits he struggles with, following up.
Following up.
Yeah.
That's something we can all relate to.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. It's important.
It's crucial for success.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of success, he also talks about this idea of mastery.
Yeah, deconstructing the myth of mastery.
Right, because it's often seen as this really elusive thing.
It is hard. But he has some really interesting insights based on like his research and talking to masters in different fields.
Makes sense.
Well, one of the most interesting things he talks about is studying your failures.
Studying your failures.
Yes. Like he uses the example of this poker champion, Johann Schwartz, who actually analyzes his wins and his losses to improve his game.
Yeah, we often focus on celebrating our wins, but there's so much to learn from the losses.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And of course, he talks about passion and pain in achieving mastery.
So you can't avoid the pain.
He says it's inevitable, but it's passion that drives you through the tough times.
Yeah.
He even uses the example of Macklemore, who actually turned down a bunch of record deals before Thrift Shop became a hit.
Yeah.
So it's about trusting your vision, believing in yourself.
Absolutely.
Even when others don't.
Yeah. So, I mean, that brings us to another one of his big ideas, which is embracing crazy ideas.
Yes.
Right.
He talks about his own, unusual business ideas.
Yeah.
Crazy doesn't necessarily mean bad.
Right. It could lead to some new opportunities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, he uses the example of Bobby Fischer, who became this legendary chess champion using really unorthodox methods, like studying old games and learning Russian to learn new strategies.
So thinking outside the box.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And he actually even challenges the idea of using to-do lists.
To-do lists. Those can be so overwhelming.
Absolutely. He says they can lead to disappointment. And just overwhelm, constantly chasing tasks, but never feeling like you're making progress.
Okay, so if not to-do lists, what's the alternative?
He suggests creating themes instead.
Themes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So instead of specific tasks, you're focusing on things that matter to you.
Yeah.
Like your theme for the week could be connection.
Okay.
So instead of listing out every little thing, You'd focus on reaching out to an old friend, having dinner with your family, going to a networking event.
So aligning actions with values, not just checking things off.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
And speaking of aligning your actions with your values, he talks about the importance of understanding trends.
Trends?
Yes.
Okay.
He connects this back to choose yourself by saying that, like, the book itself is about a trend. The decline of corporations. He also gives other examples of trends.
Okay.
Like he talks about personalized healthcare.
Okay.
Even saying that Steve Jobs might still be alive.
Wow.
If we had that technology earlier.
Yeah, that's a crazy thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he talks about this observation industry.
The observation industry. What that?
It's like all these companies that collect data and do surveillance.
Okay. So understanding these trends.
Yeah.
To capitalize on them.
Right.
Whether it's investing or business or just making good decisions.
Exactly.
Okay, so that brings us to Altucher's.
Yeah.
His very unique perspective on investing.
Yes, he's not afraid to criticize conventional wisdom.
Especially about retirement planning.
Right.
He's not a fan of that 401k approach.
Not at all.
Why is that?
He says that 401k and just saving in general is a recipe for disaster.
Most people are told to invest in those.
Right.
Why does he think that's so bad?
He thinks they don't protect against inflation.
Okay.
Like he talks about people who aren't contributing to their 401ks for decades and they retire and they don't have enough money.
Right. Their nest egg isn't as big as they thought it would be.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So that's scary.
It is scary.
So what does he think is a better approach?
He thinks the best retirement plan is to have a business or a platform that generates income.
So something that will just keep producing money for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's important to note, he has a lot of experience in the investing world.
Right, from a hedge fund manager.
Yeah, hedge funds, venture capital, angel investing.
Right. And didn't he say he was kind of disillusioned by what he saw in those roles?
Yeah, he talked about the lack of integrity,
right,
which is why he stopped managing other people's money.
Okay, so he's speaking from experience here.
Absolutely.
So what kind of specific advice does he give in terms of investing?
Well, he starts by saying, don't day trade.
Okay.
He says it's like eating cupcakes filled with money.
Okay, so it's tempting, but it's ultimately bad for you.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So for long-term investing.
He suggests two main things.
Okay.
Investing in hard-to-value companies.
Okay.
For growth.
Yeah.
And then dividend aristocrats for preservation.
Can you break down those two?
Yeah, so hard-to-value companies.
Yeah.
Those are in industries with massive potential.
Okay.
They may not be making much money yet.
Yeah.
But if they succeed.
Yeah.
The returns can be huge.
Okay, like what kind of companies?
Biotech companies are a good example.
Yeah.
They often have low revenue at first.
Right.
But they could revolutionize medicine.
Yeah.
If they work out.
So high risk, high reward.
Exactly.
Okay. And then the dividend aristocrats.
Yeah. So those are companies with a long history of increasing their dividends.
Okay.
Those are more like established, stable.
Right. Less risky.
Yes.
Okay.
And he also stresses diversification.
The old don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. He recommends the 3% rule.
3%.
Okay. No more than 3% of your portfolio.
Okay.
In any one stock.
Okay. So mitigate your risk.
Yes.
And then there's the cash reserve.
He recommends a large cash reserve.
Yeah.
Around 70%.
70%, most people tell you.
Yeah.
To keep most of your money invested.
Yeah. But he says the cash gives you flexibility, reduces stress, and allows you to take advantage of opportunities.
Like when?
Like when the market crashes.
Like
you can buy low.
Yeah.
And potentially profit from the recovery.
Or when there's blood in the street.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He also likes high dividend companies and private companies during downturns.
So it's about being prepared.
Yes.
Having that dry powder.
Yeah, absolutely.
To take advantage of the opportunities when they arise.
Exactly.
Right.
And that really ties into his whole choose yourself philosophy.
Right. Taking control.
Yeah.
Not being dependent
on
the whims of the market.
Right. And it's not just about the money.
Okay.
He also talks about life insurance and charity.
Okay. What does he have to say about those?
So his approach to life insurance is actually pretty unusual.
Okay.
He reduces his coverage as he gets older.
Most people would say you should increase it as you get older.
But he says as you build wealth,
Okay.
You need less life insurance.
Okay.
Because you have other ways to provide for your family.
Right. It's to protect your dependents.
Exactly.
If something happens.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And with charity,
yeah,
he focuses on causes he believes in
okay,
and people who have helped him.
yeah,
So it's about giving back in a way that feels authentic.
right. Not just like writing a check.
Exactly.
Just because.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so aligning your actions with values again.
Absolutely.
And I know he also has a lot to say about decision making.
He does in different areas of life.
Like dating, business, investing.
Yes.
What are some of his insights there? He talks about the power of saying no.
Okay.
And avoiding commitment bias.
So not sticking with something.
Yeah.
Just because you've already put back and money into it.
Exactly. He wants us to be more thoughtful and have the courage to walk away from things that aren't working.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
It's like recognizing that you can change your mind.
Yeah.
That it's okay to let go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that actually brings us to one of the most profound ideas in the book.
Okay.
He says, it doesn't matter if a trade or a day or even a life is good or bad.
That's a pretty big statement.
It is.
What does he mean by that?
He's saying we should detach from outcomes
Okay.
and focus on experiencing life.
Okay.
Like calling things good or bad is just a way to trap yourself.
Yeah.
It stops us from seeing the richness of life.
Right. Accepting both the good and the bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he talks about his own experience with day trading, where he got so caught up in it. Yeah.
That he forgot about his relationships and his well-being.
Yeah. So it's like a warning about getting too focused on one thing.
And it reminds us that success is about balance.
Yeah.
In all areas of life.
Right. It's not just about the money.
No.
Right?
It's about all aspects of life being in harmony.
I like that.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot here.
We have.
But I feel like we've only just begun.
We've just scratched the surface.
To explore Altucher's philosophy.
Yeah.
So I think it's safe to say that his book offers a very different perspective.
It's unique.
Yeah.
On wealth creation in the modern world.
It's more than just financial advice.
Right.
It's about transforming yourself
Yeah.
and creating abundance in all areas of your life.
Yeah, and although some of his ideas might seem
Me too.
unusual, they're backed by experience
Yeah.
and an understanding of how the world works.
Exactly.
So he really challenges us to question our assumptions.
Absolutely.
To step outside our comfort zone.
Right.
And to embrace this idea
Yeah.
of choosing ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's a message that can benefit everyone.
Absolutely.
Regardless of your financial situation
Yeah.
or your career aspirations.
It's about taking control of your life.
Right.
Your choices.
Yeah.
Your future.
Absolutely.
It's about recognizing your potential.
Yeah.
And having the courage to follow your dreams.
It's about creating a life that is truly yours.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's really powerful.
It is.
So for anyone feeling stuck, lost, or just need some inspiration, I highly recommend checking out Choose Yourself Guide to Wealth.
That's a good one.
It could change your life.
It could.
As a final thought to leave everyone with, what's that one crazy idea you've been dismissing?
Ooh.
Maybe it's time to dust it off and give it another look.
You never know.
You never know.
What amazing opportunity.
Yeah, might be waiting.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with me.
My pleasure.
It's been insightful and inspiring.
Yeah, it has.
I'm excited to see where this journey leads.
Yeah, me too.
Remember, you have the power to choose yourself.
You do. Yeah, it's been really interesting looking at Altucher's ideas so far.
Yeah, he definitely makes you think about things differently. Yeah. And I know one of the things he's really critical of is traditional investing.
Traditional investing, yeah.
He's not a fan of just like saving in your 401k and hoping for the best.
He thinks that whole approach is flawed.
Okay.
He thinks that relying on those traditional savings vehicles for retirement is just not going to work.
Okay, so even if you're saving and your 401k is growing, it might not be enough.
He doesn't think so.
Okay.
He thinks that they often don't keep up with inflation.
Right.
So you end up with less buying power.
Less buying power than you thought you would have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He talks about people who do all the right things.
Mm-hmm.
They work hard.
Yeah.
They save.
Yeah.
And then they retire.
Right.
And they can't afford to live.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wake-up call for a lot of people.
So what does he think is a better way to build that long-term security?
He thinks the best retirement plan
is
to create a business or a platform.
So something that generates income.
Yeah, something that can provide for you without relying on those traditional systems.
Yeah, become financially self-sufficient.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's important to remember that he's not just talking about this theoretically.
Right.
He's worked in investing.
Right. As a hedge fund manager.
Hedge funds, yeah.
Venture capitalist. Angel investor.
He's seen it all.
And I remember he was pretty disillusioned.
He was.
By what he saw in those roles. Yeah. He talked about the lack of integrity in the industry.
Okay. So he's speaking from experience here.
Absolutely.
So what kind of practical advice does he offer?
Well, he starts by saying, don't day trade.
Don't day trade.
No.
Okay.
He compares it to eating cupcakes filled with money.
Okay, so it sounds fun.
Right. It's tempting.
Yeah.
But it's going to hurt you in the long run.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So for long-term investing, what does he recommend?
He suggests two things. Investing in hard-to-value companies.
Okay.
And investing in dividend aristocrats.
Okay, can you explain what those are?
Sure. So hard-to-value companies are those in like emerging industries.
Okay.
They might not be making a ton of money right now.
Right.
But they have huge potential.
Okay, like what kind of companies are we talking about?
Like biotech companies?
Biotech.
Yeah, they often have low revenue.
Right.
But they could revolutionize healthcare.
So it's like a high risk, high reward. Okay, and what about the dividend aristocrats?
So those are companies that have a history of increasing their dividends.
Okay, so they're more stable?
Yeah, more established, more predictable.
Okay, so less risky.
Yeah, lower risk. And then no matter what you're investing in, he stresses diversification.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
He recommends the 3% rule.
The 3% rule, what's that?
No more than 3% of your portfolio in any one stock.
Okay, so you're spreading out your risk.
Exactly. And he also recommends a large cash reserve.
How large are we talking?
Around 70%.
70%. Most people would say keep most of your money invested.
I know, but he says cash gives you options.
Okay.
It reduces stress.
Right.
And it lets you take advantage of opportunities.
Like when the market crashes.
Exactly.
Okay.
You can buy low when everyone else is panicking.
Buy when there's blood in the streets.
That's the idea.
Yeah, okay.
He also likes high dividend companies.
Okay.
And private companies.
Okay.
During those downturns.
So be prepared.
Really prepared.
Yeah. Have the cash ready.
Have that dry powder.
Yeah.
To jump on those opportunities.
Okay.
And all of this really ties into that choose yourself philosophy.
Right. Taking control of your finances.
Yes.
Not being dependent on the system.
Right.
Okay. So it's not just about specific investments.
No, it's about a mindset of self-reliance.
Okay.
And it's not just about investing. He also talks about life insurance and charity.
Oh, yeah. What does he have to say about those things?
Well, his take on life insurance is pretty unique.
Right.
He actually reduces his coverage.
As he gets older.
Yeah, as he gets older.
Most people would say increase it.
I know, right?
Okay.
But he argues that as you build wealth, you need less life insurance.
Okay, because you have other ways to provide for your family.
If you go, life insurance is really about protecting your dependents.
Right. If something happens to you.
Right.
Okay, I can see that. And then with charity.
He focuses on causes he believes in.
Okay.
And people who have helped him.
Yeah.
So it's about giving back authentically.
Right, not just writing a check to feel good about yourself.
Not at all.
Okay, so aligning your actions with your values again.
Absolutely.
And I know he also talks about decision-making.
Decision-making, yes. Yeah. In all areas of life.
Dating, business.
Yeah, dating, business, investing.
Yeah. What are some of his key takeaways there?
So he talks about the power of saying no.
Saying no.
Yeah, and avoiding something called commitment bias.
Commitment bias, so that's like...
Yeah, it's when you stick with something even though it's not working.
Because you've already invested time and energy.
Exactly.
Okay.
He says we should be more willing to walk away from things that aren't serving us.
Even if we've already put a lot into it.
Right, even if it feels like a waste.
Okay, so... being willing to change your mind.
Change your mind, yeah.
Yeah, to pivot.
To pivot, absolutely.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it's about letting go of the past.
Yeah.
Even if it means admitting you made a mistake.
Right, and that brings us to what he says is one of the most profound ideas in the book.
Okay.
He says, it doesn't matter if a trade or a day or even a life is good or bad.
Wow, that's a big one.
Yeah, what does he mean by that?
He's saying we should stop judging our experiences. Like labeling things as good or bad just keeps us from fully experiencing them.
Okay, so accepting the good and the bad.
accept it all
Yeah.
as part of life.
Yeah, okay.
He actually tells a story about his time day trading.
Okay.
Where he got so obsessed with the market that he neglected his relationships and his health.
So it's a warning about getting too focused.
Yeah, it's about finding balance in life.
Okay.
He also tells a story about meeting this hedge fund manager who was dressed in pink.
Pink?
Yeah, pink.
Okay.
And he had this huge house.
Okay.
But he also had cancer.
So it's a reminder that money doesn't equal happiness.
Money doesn't buy happiness.
Right?
And he connected this to that Eminem song, Lose Yourself.
Lose Yourself, yeah.
Yeah, which is about seizing the moment, giving it your all.
Okay.
Recognizing that life is short.
Okay.
And we should focus on what matters.
So this leads into his ideas about vulnerability and authenticity.
Yes.
He says that exposing yourself in your work is scary.
It is.
But it's how you create something meaningful.
Right. It's how you connect with people.
He uses Eminem as an example.
Eminem, yeah.
Right.
His success came from being raw and honest.
So being yourself.
Be yourself, yeah.
Even if it's scary.
Even if it's scary. He actually says we should only publish things that scare us.
Wow, okay.
He thinks those are the things that will resonate.
So embrace the unknown.
Embrace the unknown, yes.
Yeah.
And that leads into his ideas about community.
Community.
Yeah.
Collaboration.
He says it's so important to have people around you who support you.
Yeah, people who share your values.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He even talks about these choose yourself meetings.
Choose yourself meetings, what are those?
They're basically gatherings where people can come together and support each other.
Yeah.
They read from his books.
Okay.
They talk about their goals. They share their experiences with the daily practice, and they just help each other out.
So putting his ideas into practice in a group setting.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
And he talks about this permission networking.
Permission networking? What's that?
It's about creating a safe space where people can share ideas.
Right.
And ask for help connecting with others.
Okay, so it's about leveraging the group's knowledge and experience.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and then there's idea sex.
We talked about that before.
Yeah, that's about bringing together different ideas
to
create something new.
Right, even if those ideas seem bad at first.
He thinks all ideas are worth exploring.
Right.
He compares ideas to mazes.
Mazes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't know where you're going until you get to the end.
Right, and even a dead end can be a learning experience.
It can teach you something about where not to go.
Okay.
So embrace the unknown and trust the process.
I like that.
Yeah.
So speaking of the process of life, I know he also talks about how to deal with challenges.
He does. He talks about the importance of focusing on the present moment.
Okay.
Being grateful for what you have.
Right.
And trusting that things will work out.
He also emphasizes self-care.
Self-care.
Yeah, taking care of yourself.
Okay.
He talks about exercise, meditation, spending time in nature.
So taking care of your physical and mental health.
Exactly. And then he gets into personal finance.
Personal finance, okay.
He talks about managing your money.
Yeah.
Investing wisely.
Yeah.
And achieving financial freedom.
Okay.
He starts by debunking some myths about money.
Okay, like what?
Like the myth that you need a lot of money to be happy.
Right. It's not about...
Yeah, it's not about the money itself.
The money itself.
It's about what you do with it.
Right.
He also challenges traditional retirement planning.
Yeah, he's not a fan of that.
Not at all.
Okay.
He says that sacrificing your present happiness
right.
for some future that might not even happen is not the way to go.
So create a life you love now.
Yes.
And find ways to make money from it.
Exactly.
Okay.
He suggests things like starting a business, investing in yourself, building a platform to share your ideas.
Okay, so multiple streams of income.
Multiple streams of income, yeah.
Right.
And he also gives advice on investing.
Investing, yeah.
He emphasizes diversification,
right,
risk management, understanding the fundamentals.
So don't just blindly follow someone else's advice.
No, do your own research.
Okay.
He talks about his own philosophy, which combines value investing, growth investing, and dividend investing.
Okay.
He even gives examples of companies and strategies that he likes.
So he's not just talking in the abstract.
No, he gives you concrete examples.
Right.
He also talks about cash reserves, managing debt, protecting your assets.
So it's a holistic approach.
Yeah, it's about more than just making money.
Right.
It's about managing it wisely and using it to create a good life.
Okay, so it's about more than just the numbers.
It's about your whole life.
Yeah.
He even shares his thoughts on life insurance and charity.
Right, and how to align those.
Exactly.
He wants you to make conscious choices that reflect your values.
So think about what's important to you
Yeah.
and make decisions based on that.
Exactly.
Okay.
And he also talks about decision-making in general.
Yeah, like we shared before.
Yeah, using that power of no
Okay.
and avoiding commitment bias.
Right, so not being afraid to change your mind.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's never too late
to
create the life you want.
Okay, so take ownership.
Take ownership, yeah.
Of your choices.
Choose yourself.
Choose yourself.
That's the message.
Okay, I like that.
And he encourages us to embrace the unknown.
Embrace the unknown.
Yeah, to take risks.
Right.
To never give up on our dreams.
That's powerful.
It is.
It's a reminder that we have the power to create our own reality.
Our own reality, yeah.
Both financially.
And in every other area of our lives.
Absolutely.
And that's pretty amazing.
It's empowering.
It is.
You know, it's amazing how he gives you both the big ideas and the actual steps.
Yeah, he doesn't just say be an idea machine.
Right.
He tells you how.
Yeah, like those idealists he has.
The idealists, yeah.
Those are so helpful.
What are some of your favorites?
Well, there's idea sex, where you combine two random ideas to see what you get.
Spark something new.
Exactly. Yeah. And then there's 10 ridiculous things I would invent.
That one sounds fun.
It is. It really gets you thinking outside the box.
So it's about pushing past those limits.
Yes. And it's not just about the lists themselves.
Right.
It's about getting in the habit of coming up with ideas.
Like a mental workout.
Exactly.
And I like how he mixes that with humor and personal stories.
Me too.
Like, remember when he bought all those Domino's franchises?
Oh, yeah, the pizza story.
It wasn't some fancy tech startup.
No, just pizza.
But he made it work.
He did. He focused on the basics.
Round pizzas on time delivery.
That's it.
It's a good reminder that success is often about mastering the fundamentals.
Absolutely, no matter what you're doing.
And he really emphasizes that throughout the book, those principles apply everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
And he walks you through it all.
Yeah.
Like building that website for $2,000
right.
and selling it for $10 million.
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
It shows you what's possible. If you start small and keep learning.
And I love that he emphasizes doing things manually at first.
Yeah, it's about understanding the process.
Right, before you try to automate everything.
Exactly.
Okay, so build a strong foundation.
Yes.
Get your hands dirty.
Get in there.
Really understand how it all works.
Yeah, and then you can scale up.
Okay.
And of course, he talks about over-delivering for customers.
Right.
Building those relationships, learning, adapting, always growing.
And that brings us back to the human economy.
The human economy, yeah.
Where it's all about relationships.
Yeah, moving away from those one-time sales.
Right, build something lasting.
Long-term, mutually beneficial.
Become a trusted advisor.
Exactly, someone who's there to help.
And that connects really well with his ideas about leadership.
Leadership, right.
He doesn't think it's about being in charge.
No, it's not about having all the answers.
It's about inspiring others.
Inspiring, empowering.
Yeah.
Like with his podcast.
Yeah, where he showcases people who have transformed their lives.
And who are now helping others.
So anyone can be a leader.
Absolutely.
It's about sharing your knowledge and passion.
Exactly.
And that's what I think makes this book so powerful.
Yeah.
It's not just about money.
It's about a whole way of life.
It's about purpose, meaning, abundance.
Yes, investing in yourself.
Building relationships.
Making a difference.
So, yeah, he gives a lot of specific advice about investing, finance, business. But the real takeaway for me is that underlying philosophy.
It's about empowerment.
Taking control of your life.
Creating the life you want.
Shifting your mindset.
Embracing change.
Yeah, realizing you have the power.
You have the power.
To make it happen.
And that's what makes it so inspiring.
It is. It's really inspiring.
For anyone who's feeling lost.
Stuck, yeah.
Or just needs a boost.
I think this book is a must-read.
I agree. Choose Yourself Guide to Wealth.
It could change your life.
It really could.
And as a final thought for our listeners, what's that one crazy idea you've been putting off?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Maybe it's time to revisit it.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know what might happen.
It could be amazing.
Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a really insightful and inspiring journey.
It has.
And remember, you have the power to choose yourself.
You do.